All right, guys, today is Friday, November the 5th, 2021, and today we're starting coordinate geometry. Now, coordinate geometry is a graph-related topic, and a sort of like a graph sheet is being displayed on the screen. Right in this book, that's what it's for. All right, so Joanna, the book that we're writing in now is the book I sent to you. So by the time you get it, you'll be able to just transcribe the notes that you have taken so far, and you'll be able to, from now on, just use that book. And that book will take us way into next year. All right, so we're looking at coordinate geometry, and before you, what we have is the Cartesian plane. And essentially, the Cartesian plane is the graph sheet after you have label you put in your x-axis and your y-axis, and you label the x-axis and the y-axis. So let me just describe some of the features of the Cartesian plane. Now, the vertical axis is called the y-axis, and the horizontal axis is called the x-axis. The point where the y-axis and the x-axis meets is called the origin. The point where the y-axis and the x-axis meet is called the origin. Guys, the y-axis and the x-axis divides the Cartesian plane into quadrants. The y-axis and the x-axis, the y and the x-axis divides the Cartesian plane into quadrants. Now, the quadrants are labeled with Roman numeral. So this is the first quadrant, the second quadrant, the third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. So the quadrants are labeled with Roman numerals. All right, we're just going through. Now, the coordinates of a point on the graph sheet or on the Cartesian plane is of the form x, y. The coordinates of a point on the Cartesian plane is of the form x, y. X being the x coordinate and y being the y coordinate. What else? Guys, the sign of the x coordinate and the y coordinate depends on the quadrant that it is in. All right. So so that is just me talking about the Cartesian plane. Let us just read some of the features. So feature number one, as I said before, the vertical axis is called the y-axis. The horizontal axis is called the x-axis. Now the two axes intersect at the origin. The origin corresponds to 0 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. Guys, a coordinate or an ordered pair is of the form xy. Now, a coordinate describes the location of a point. The x coordinate is where the point is to the left or right of the origin, and the y coordinate is where the point is above or below the origin. Guys, the x coordinate is always the first coordinate in each ordered pair. Or in each coordinate, the x coordinate is always the first coordinate. Guys, the axis divides the coordinate plane into quadrants. The quadrants are labeled using Roman numerals. The sign of the x and the y coordinate of a point varies depending on the quadrant it is in. All right, guys. So let me go back to this picture for a second. All right, so this is the point A here. That's the point A. Now, I'm going to show you one way you could, one thing you could do to, or one way of determining the coordinates of a point. Guys, now, the coordinate describes where a point is relative to the origin. Now, for the x coordinate tells you if the point is to the left or to the right of the origin. If the x coordinate is positive, it means it's to the right of the origin. And if the x coordinate is negative, it means it is to the left of the origin. The y coordinate tells you if the point is above or below the origin. If the y coordinate is positive, the point is above the origin. If the y coordinate is negative, the point is below the origin. Guys, now the point A is 4 units to the right. To get from the origin to A, I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right. It means that the x coordinate of A is 4. To get to A from the origin, I have to move what? 1, 2, 3 units up. So A is 4 units to the right and 3 units above the origin. If it's above the origin, it is positive. So A is the point 3, 4, meaning that A is 4 units to the right and it is 4 units to the right and 3 units above the origin. Now B is what? 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left. So the x coordinate of B is -4 because it is to the left. It's above the x-axis, so it is 1 above, so it is +1. C is 1, 2, 3 to the left. So C is -3, and it is what? 1, 2, 3, 4 units down. So that is -4. The -3 is telling me that I went 3 units to the left, and the -4 is telling me that I went what? 4 units down. Now, guys, I'm going to put some points, and I want you to write the points down, type the points in the chat. Type the coordinates of the points in the chat. I'm going to put some points in, and I want you to type the coordinates of the point in the chat. So let's call this M. Let's call this N. Let's call this P. And let us call this Q. What I want you to do is type the coordinates of each point in the chat. You know exactly how to do it. Type the coordinates of each point in the chat. All right, so the coordinates of M. To get to M from the origin, I go 2 units to the right and 4 units up. So M is the point 2, 4. The first coordinate is the x coordinate, and it tells you if you're going to the left or to the right. If you're going to the right, it is positive. If you're going to the left, it is negative. The second coordinate is the y coordinate, and it tells you if you're going up or down. If you're going up, it's positive. If you're going down, it is negative. So N, To get to N from the origin, you go 5 units to the left and 3 units up. So N is the point -5, 3. P, to get to P from the origin, 3 units to the left and 2 units down. So P is the point -3, -2. To get to Q from the origin, you go 1 unit to the right, so that's 1, and 5 units down, so that is -5. All right. So one of the first thing we need to be able to do is to be able to determine the coordinates of a point. All right, I'm turning the page. All right, here's an activity. Now you guys don't have the Joanna, Yuan, and I don't have the book as yet. So let's just try and do the best that we can. All right, so all right, guys, let's do this activity together. I think it will go a lot faster that way. In each of the sections, state the coordinates of each point and answer the question or questions that follow by circling the correct response in bracket. So the first thing we'll ask for, need the coordinates of A, B, C, and D. All right, so let me ask, Janelle, what's the coordinates of A? Just unmute your mic and answer. Coordinates of A,
4.
5, 4, good. Anaya, B,
-3. 1.
-3, 1, good. C, Jadon, -4, -3. All right, Joanna, coordinate of D,
7 and -2.
7, -2. Very good. Now, this is in the first quadrant. A is in the first quadrant. B is in the second quadrant. C is in the third quadrant. And D is in the fourth quadrant. All right. Now, here's the first question. In the first quadrant, both the X coordinate and the Y coordinates are, Janelle. In the first quadrant, very good, Janelle, both are positive. Guys, in the second quadrant, the X coordinate is, Anaya, this is your question. In the second quadrant, where B is, the X coordinate is negative or positive?
Negative.
Good. And the Y coordinate is negative or positive?
Positive.
Very good. All right, Jadon, your question. In the third quadrant, both the X coordinate and the Y coordinate are negative. Good. All right, turning the page. Joanna, your question. Joanna, in the fourth quadrant, both the X coordinate, the X coordinate is negative or positive?
Positive.
Very good. And the Y coordinate is negative or positive?
Negative.
Very good. All right, guys, the next thing we want are the coordinates of E, F, and G. So the next thing, write them down, guys. We need the coordinates of E, F, and G. Let me change the color ink to highlight them. So this is E, F, and G. Write down the coordinates of E, F, and G, and then let us answer the questions. All right, so before we move from this page, all right, can you identify that E, F, and G are on the same vertical line? Can you see that?
Yes, Uncle Earl.
Very good. All right, so let's turn the page. All right, the coordinates of E, Janelle,
4, 6.
is it 4, 7 or 4, 6?
I said 4, 6.
All right, 4, 6. What's the coordinates of F, Anaya?
4, 2.
4, 2. What's the coordinate of G, Jadon? 4 minus what? Minus 3. All right. Now, guys, so we already showed that E, F, and G are on the same vertical line. Here's what this says. Joanna, this is your question. All points on the same vertical line have the same what coordinate?
Y.
Go again, Joanna. All points on the same vertical line have the same which coordinate?
Y.
All right, look here. These are the 3 points. This is X and this is Y. This is X and this is Y. This is X and this is Y. Which coordinate is the same for all 3 points?
X.
Very good. All points on the same vertical line have the same X coordinate. Guys, let's go back and determine the coordinates of H, I, and J. We're going back. Want to determine the coordinates of H, I, and J, changing the color ink. So this is H, this is I, and this is J. And H, I, and J are on the same horizontal line. H, I, and J are on the same horizontal line. All right, so write down the coordinates of H, I, and J very quickly, guys. Write down the coordinates of H, I, and J very quickly. And if you're following, you put it in the spot that is designed to put it. All right, so before we move on, can you guys identify that H, I, and J are on the same horizontal line? Can you identify that?
Yes, Uncle Earl.
All right. All right, so let's get the points for H, I, and J. Joanna, H.
-5 and 3.
Very good. I, Anaya.
2, 3.
J, Janelle.
6, 3.
I didn't get that.
6, 3.
6, 3. Guys, all points on the same horizontal line have the same what coordinate? Jadon, your question. Y coordinate. All points on the same horizontal line have the same Y coordinate. Guys, these are very important things to note. Very important things to note, very important things to keep in mind. It will allow you to, these are tools which will help you to be able to analyze your graphs in the future. All right, let's get the coordinates of K, L, and M. K, L, and M. I'm changing the ink so I can identify them. K, L, and M. All right, let's go yellow. K, yellow is very light, L, and M. All right. Let's make the yellow a little bigger, thicker. All right. Can you identify that K, L, and M are all on the y-axis? Can you
Yes, sir.
identify that K, L, and M are all on the y-axis? All right, guys, please identify, please write down the coordinates of K, L, and M. All right, so the coordinates of K, L, and M. Anaya, K,
0, 5.
very good. Joanna, L,
0 and -1.
Janelle, M, Janelle, M,
0, -5.
very good. Anaya, what coordinate of all points on the y-axis is 0? Which coordinate of all points on the y-axis is 0? And
The X coordinate.
very good. The x coordinate of all points on the y-axis is 0. The x coordinate of all points on the y-axis is 0. Next, we're aiming for P, Q, and R. P, Q, and R. Let's change the color ink to, let's go purple. All right, so P, Q, and R. And we can all identify that P, Q, and R are points on the x-axis. Guys, record the coordinates of P, Q, and R. All right, let's go P. Joanna, P.
-5 and 0.
-5, 0. Jadon, Q. -2, 0. Anaya, R.
5, 0.
5, 0. Janelle, which coordinate of all points on the x-axis is 0? Which coordinate of all points on the x-axis is 0? Janelle,
Um,
Janelle,
Y.
very good. The y coordinate of all points on the x-axis is 0. And anybody, what are the coordinates of the origin? Anybody? 0, 0, and that's coming from Jadon, are the coordinates of the origin.